In today's video, we're going to discuss the top RPA interview questions. Now, if you're looking to make a career in this field and if you're just browsing around for jobs, then you're in the right place. This video will absolutely help you crack that next interview of yours. So without further ado, let's begin. The first question is, what is RPA? Now, robotic process automation is the use of software with artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities to handle high-volume repetitive tasks that previously required humans to perform. Now, some of these tasks could be addressing queries, making calculations, maintenance of records, or even performing transactions. Now, RPA is a form of automation that basically sticks to the front end of the system and carries out tasks without having to move to the back end. Now, this is an essential feature of RPA. Next up is mention a few applications of RPA. There are several applications. To mention a few, we have open mails and attachments, fill in forms and move files and folders, follow if-then rules, connect to system APIs, extract structured data from documents, make complex calculations, monitor manual processes and learn how to perform them, read and write databases, scrape data from documents, and even log into web enterprise applications. Next question is mention a few advantages of RPA. Firstly, RPA reduces cost. Now, by automating tasks, the cost saving of almost 30% can be achieved through RPA. RPA reduces operational risks. Various companies prefer to outsource busy work to external parties. Now, this comes with an inherent risk of human errors and inefficiency. Now, RPA brings forth a better solution, and since work stays in-house, there's less operational risk. Next up is quality and accuracy. RPA offers services to processes with a high probability of human errors, thereby increasing accuracy. Robots are reliable and consistent and don't complain when expected to work tirelessly. Next up is scalability. With the help of RPA, companies can make adjustments based on seasonality and can easily scale up or down the operation as needed. Reduced workload. Automating tasks like report making can significantly reduce the workload on the employee, allowing them to focus on other critical tasks. Improved customer satisfaction. Since accuracy is maintained and operational risk is minimal, customers are provided with quality content. Lastly, we have improved business results. Since all employees are focusing on activities that add more value to the company, improved results in the business are visible. The next question is, what are some industries that can benefit from RPA? There are several industries and domains that are currently benefiting from RPA. To mention a few, there's banking and finance, IT integration processes, human resources, insurance agencies, marketing and sales, and customer relationship management. Moving on to next question, what are RPA tools? Now, to meet the objectives of RPA tools are used. They are the software with the help of which one can configure tasks and build bots to automate them. Some of the popular ones in the market today are UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, WorkFusion, and Redwood. Moving on to next question, explain the working of RPA. Now, the typical working of RPA includes 4 crucial stages. The first stage is planning. In this stage, the processes to be automated are defined, which includes identifying the test objects, finalizing the implementation approach, and defining a clear roadmap for the RPA implementation. The next step is design and development. In this phase, you start developing the automation workflows as per the agreed plan. Thirdly, we have deployment and testing. This phase typically includes the execution of the bots. Any unexpected outages are to be taken care of during the deployment. To ensure accurate functioning, testing of these bots for bugs and errors is crucial. Lastly, we have support and maintenance. Providing constant support helps in identifying and rectifying the errors better. Moving on to the next question, what is the difference between traditional automation and RPA? Here's a simple image for you. Now, to go on to talk about the differences, traditional automation involves programming APIs and integration tools to integrate different systems. RPA, on the other hand, mimics the actions of a user at the user interface level. In the case of traditional automation, the developer needs to have a good understanding of the target system, while in RPA, as long as the bot can exactly follow the steps, the developer need not worry about the underlying complexities. The next question is mention the types of RPA. Now basically there are three types of RPA. First up is unattended or autonomous RPA. Now this is ideal for reducing work like completing data processing tasks in the background. They do not require any human intervention. Now these bots can be launched at specific intervals, or they could be bot initiated, or they could be triggered by some data input. Next up is attended RPA. Now these bots live on the user's machine and are triggered by the user. They can be launched when embedded on an employee's device, or they can be auto-run based on certain conditions, or they can be launched using the RPA client tool. Lastly, we have hybrid RPA. It is a combination of attended and autonomous bots. Now these bots address front and back office tasks in the enterprise. The next question is, what are front and back office bots? Now front office bots are those whose deployment is totally in the user's control. They require human intervention. They work from the same desktop as that of the user. It can only be triggered by local machines manually and cannot run remotely. When it comes to back office bots, these bots can run on locked machines from the orchestrator. The user may not be actively involved in its working, and these bots can be triggered remotely by servers. The next question is, what are some features of RPA? First up is Rich Analytical Suite. Now RPA monitors and manages automated functions from a central console. Now this console can be accessed from anywhere and offer basic metrics on robots, servers, workflows, and more. Simple creation of bots. RPA tools allow quick creation of bots effortlessly by capturing mouse clicks and keystrokes with built-in screen recorder components. Scriptless automation. RPA tools are code-free and can automate any application in any department. Employees with less programming skills can create bots through GUIs. Security. RPA tools enable the configuration as well as customization of encryption capabilities for securing certain data types to defend against the interruption of network communication. Hosting and deployment. RPA systems can automatically deploy bots in groups of hundreds. Hence, RPA can be installed on desktops and deployed on servers to access data for repetitive tasks. Debugging. Some RPA tools require to stop running to rectify the errors, while other tools allow dynamic interaction while debugging. This is one of the most powerful features of RPA. Moving on, what are the major differences between Blue Prism and UiPath? Moving on to the first feature is trial version. Blue Prism offers a trial version. It's available in two options, either on cloud or on the local computer. UiPath, on the other hand, offers free edition. Both trial and license versions are available. Moving on to base technologies, Blue Prism is completely based on C#. UiPath is based on SharePoint, Kibana, and Elasticsearch. Moving on to Process Designer. Blue Prism allows you to create, design, edit, as well as test business processes from the Visual Business Object. But what exactly is a VBO? A VBO can take the form of a set of coded functions which may be written in VB.NET or C#.NET. UiPath acts as a visual process designer with friendly developer options. Now, a visual process designer basically is a dashboard consisting of various tools through which a developer can define the automation tasks. Moving on to accessibility. Blue Prism allows only browser-based accessibility. UiPath, on the other hand, provides mobile and browser accessibility. Moving on to robots, Blue Prism offers back office automation only, while UiPath offers both front and back office automation. The next crucial factor is a macro recorder. In case of Blue Prism, a macro recorder does not exist, while in the case of UiPath, it consists of a macro recorder enabling faster process mapping. Moving on, what is Citrix automation? Any automation solution built using a virtual desktop or built to work in virtual desktops is Citrix automation. It plays a major role in small to corporate companies like BPO and contact centers where applications are being accessed remotely because of security considerations. Next question is, what is UiPath Studio? Now, UiPath Studio is basically a platform to create the automation bots. It encompasses hundreds of activity templates and ready-made components to drag and drop. UiPath Studio consists of, first up is GUI dashboard. It offers a visual dashboard with activities like send email, display message, and so on. It also consists of different types of recorders. UiPath Studio offers various recorders to record actions on multiple platforms. Next up is logging and exception handling. It offers various options for these too, such as debug, open logs, slow step, etc. Lastly, it offers reusable components. Here the user can create usable components to publish them together as libraries. Moving on, what are activities in UiPath? The activities panel shows available activities that can be added to the current workflow. Users can use the search box to find various activities, navigate through them using navigation keys, and press. System Activities Pack contains all the basic activities used for creating automation projects. These activities enable the robots to manipulate data tables by adding or extracting information, or directly interact with directories and files on your machine, performing any action a human user would. Also, there are other types of activities in the pack that aid in the creation and execution of automation projects themselves, such as logical operators and expressions. Moving on, what is a sequence in UiPath? A sequence is a simple linear representation that flows from top to bottom and defines which activities are to be performed. Alright, you can see a simple example on your screen here. So to give you a detailed explanation, let me just navigate to UiPath. And here I can create a new sequence. I go to New, click on Sequence, and let me call it sequence as it is and say Create. Alright, now a sequence is created. So I want to display two messages. So let's look for the activity that is message box. I drag and drop it here. And let me display hello first. And I drag another message box, and after that I drop it here. And okay, let me do that again. Alright, and here I display welcome. Alright, so let's save this and debug. According to the logic, hello has to be displayed first and then welcome. Right? So let's go ahead and see if it does that. Alright, you see a hello message first, followed by which you can see the welcome message. So this is what a sequence is. Moving on to the next question, what is scraping in UiPath? Now scraping can be done in two ways. First up is data scraping. Now this is a technique with the help of which structured data can be extracted from the web or any application and saved to a database or a spreadsheet or a .csv file. In the case of screen scraping, it is a process of collecting screen display data from one application and translating it so that another application can display it. Now you can see the two options on the top of your user interface in UiPath. Moving on. What are UiPath robots? Now UiPath robots run the automation that is created using the UiPath Studio. Now there are two types of robots. As discussed earlier, we have attended robots. Now they work with you to speed up the process like service desk operation or help desk operations. Now it is used in activities where human involvement is key. Next up is unattended robots. Now these operate without the human touch, maximizing cost and performance benefits for any variety of back office tasks. Next question, what does the UiPath orchestrator do? Now the orchestrator is a centralized robot management dashboard where you can easily deploy, secure and manage your UiPath robots at scale. First, you have to create the bot. The project is then published as a process for further use. Once a process is created, it is assigned to a specific robot to execute in an environment. This collectively constitutes a job. All of this is taken care of by the UiPath orchestrator. Next question, how is exception handling achieved in UiPath? Exception handling is one of the error handling methods in UiPath. The error handling activity has 4 options. First up is rethrow. Now using this activity, a robot throws an exception again which was previously caught while executing the workflow. For this activity, we don't need to provide any specified message. Secondly, we have terminate workflow. Now this is a mechanism where we can ask the robot to terminate REST activities. This activity is mostly used when there is no data to process. To use this activity, we may need to provide the exception message which the bot may log in, the error log file which we can refer to later. Third is throw. Throw activity is a mechanism wherein if a bot fails to execute a mentioned activity, it throws an error with a specified error message to help us understand better. Lastly, we have try catch. Now this activity has 3 parts. The try block would be executed and if there was an error, it will be caught in the catch section. Now after executing the try block, robot will execute the finally block in any condition. Moving on, what are breakpoints in UiPath? Breakpoints are used to purposely pause the debugging process on any activity that may trigger execution issues. You can place and modify a breakpoint on any of the activities as follows. So from the context menu, you can right-click on an activity and select toggle breakpoint. So let me show you how that works. So here, in my sequence, I can just right-click on it. And here you can see the toggle breakpoint option. You can go ahead and click on that. That is one of the methods. Or I can select the activity and click on the breakpoints button on the debug tab. So let me show you. Here, let me select this and in my debug tab, I can click on breakpoints and say toggle breakpoint. That is another method. And lastly, I can press F9 while the desired activity is being selected. It's as simple as that. Moving on to the next question, what is a macro recorder? A macro recorder allows you to record mouse events and keyboard activities to generate automation scripts. Now the activities are arranged based on the sequence of actions being performed on the screen, right? So this sequence is saved in your workflow, which you can later use it to play back the recorded action. Moving on, what are the user events in UiPath? Mention a few. Now user events in UiPath specify the actions performed due to the occurrence of certain events, right? Some of these events could be click, key press or monitor mouse or any monitor keyboard, etc. So when it comes to on-click element, now this basically monitors all the click events on a specified UI element. The mouse buttons left, right and middle are used for the click action. By default, the left mouse button is selected. On key press element. Now this monitors keyboard events on a specified UI element. Special keys are supported and you can select them from the activity drop-down list. This field supports only strings and string variables. On click image, this monitors the image defined by the target UI element for mouse input. And monitor mouse, this monitors a specified mouse key combination system-wide event. Moving on, we have what are the different activities performed by UiPath. We have core activities for automation processes, cognitive activities for language translations, credential activities for enabling the addition or deletion of credentials, database activities basically used for executing queries, transactions, etc. We have Excel activities for automating MS Excel tasks, FTP activities for performing functions on the FTP server, intelligent OCR activities for digitization and scraping. We have mail activities for working with IMAP, POP3, SMTP, Outlook. We have PDF activities for data extraction from PDF, Python activities for invoking Python scripts and methods, terminal activities for retrieving data from the terminal. We have web activities for performing SOAP and HTTP requests to any web APIs. And we have Word activities for automating activities in MS Word. So these are a few you could mention. Moving on, what does the control room in Automation Anywhere do? The control room is a web-based platform that controls Automation Anywhere. Alright, the control room deals with user management, source control. The code for the bots is managed by the control room. Dashboard, it gives complete analytics and results of Automation Anywhere bots. And license management, the purchased licenses for Automation Anywhere are configured in the control room. Now there are two types of licenses in Automation Anywhere. You have the device license, which allows you to create a bot, edit bot, and then run a bot. And you have the run license, wherein the user can only run the bot and cannot make any changes. So this is what the control room does. Moving on to the next question, what is a bot runner? Now a bot runner is the machine where you run the bot. Now you could have multiple bots running in parallel. You only need the run license to run the bots. The bots report back the execution logs, pass, fail status back to the control room. Moving on, what are task bots, meta bots, and IQ bots? So task bots basically are the bots that automate a rule-based repetitive task in areas like documentation, administration, HR, claims, management, etc. Moving on to meta bots, these bots are the automation building blocks. It is designed in such a way that with application changes or updates, you need to make minimal edits to this bot. Any changes made to the bot is easily reflected. Lastly, we have the IQ bots. Now this is an advanced tool. It can learn on its own and perform a task according to it. IQ bots offer automation using highly advanced cognitive technology. Moving on, is robotic process automation similar to screen scraping or macros? Now, screen scraping mostly talks about the old green screen applications, mainframe ones, where you basically capture the screen. You process it based on its content and information that you have. When it comes to RPA, it is more intelligent, more capable, and much more robust. What it does, it connects to the elements. Whether they are Windows applications or Java applications, does not matter. They connect all the elements. It does use screen scraping, yes, but it's just a part of robotic process automation. They're not entirely the same. Moving on, what are thick and thin clients? A thick client is the application that requires certain attribute features using RPA tools, example a computer, a calculator, or Internet Explorer. While a thin client is the application that never acquires the specific properties while using the RPA tools. Very simple. The next question is, how is a chatbot different from RPA? Now, a chatbot is basically a bot that is programmed to chat with the user like a human being would, right? While in case of RPA, it is a bot that is programmed to automate a manual business process of executing a task or any activity with a business function. Alright, so a chatbot can be used as a medium to feed input to the RPA bot, but it cannot replicate the features of an RPA system. Moving on to the final question, can Selenium be used for RPA? Well, there are lots of test automation tools in the market today, like Selenium, QTP, and Appium. These are good test automation tools. And no, they cannot be used for robotic process automation. Test automation tools have a constraint. They require software in order to run. But in case of RPA, it can be applied to anything other than a product. And mostly RPA is used to automate business processes. So Selenium or any test automation tool for that matter cannot be used for RPA.